Subaru have something of a fetish for four-wheel drive. It's as though they can't do anything without it.
There's the rather aged Justy, still the only all-wheel drive Super Mini. In the family class, there's the Legacy, best known perhaps for its successes on the British Rally Championship over the last 3 years. There's the phone booth-sized Vivio, which brings four-wheel drive to the supermarket car park. Then there's a sort of greenhouse supercar, the SVX, four-wheel drive, of course. And the ubiquitous pickups that seem to outnumber the sheep in the Shire counties.
Now they're set to expand into the Golf class with this, the four-wheel drive Impreza, or as Subaru would have it, the Impreza. It comes as this rather unimpressive, forgettable-looking saloon, or as this more aesthetically pleasing hatchback come estate. They're both at around the 13,000 mark. I really rather like the shape of this one. It's got more than a hint of the American station wagon, albeit without the wood trimmings. Under the bonnet, there's something that's as much a Subaru speciality as four-wheel drive, a flat-four boxer engine. So called because the cylinders go in opposite directions rather than up and down. 1.6 and 1.8 litre sizes are available, and Subaru enthusiasts will appreciate these frameless door windows.
On the road, the flat-four engine soon makes its presence felt by its buzzy, free-revving noise. More Alfa Sud than Ferrari Berlinetta, but enjoyable all the same. The all-wheel drive is hardly put to the test on dry tarmac at normal speeds, but scrabbling for traction on patches of gravel and wet autumn leaves is not a Subaru experience.
It's a permanent four-wheel drive system using a device known as a viscous coupling. Hands up, who knows what that is? But when things start to slide, more power is delivered to the end with the most grip. All I know is that it makes for remarkably stable and level-headed cornering.
The only problem is that although the engines sound great, they don't have much power. Even this 1.8 only exudes 101 brake horsepower. So an enthusiast might enjoy the handling, but find that there simply isn't enough pace to exploit it fully. A shot in the arm for this one, please.
And there's sufficient din to suggest the engine's working quite hard at motorway speeds.
Not ideal for relaxed long-distance cruising. But Subaru haven't forgotten their clout with the horsebox earning set and the farming fraternity.
To help you in grass and light mud, there's an extra lever next to the gear lever so you can shift into low range.
In effect, it means you've got a complete extra set of 5 low gears.
It's just like a proper off-roader.
So you can now power up steep gradients and have better control on the slippery downslopes. But it shouldn't tempt you to behave too much like the off-road boys, because there's no extra ground clearance to protect your sump, and traction will be limited by those conventional road tyres. You won't, however, feel intimidated by muddy lanes and wet grassy slopes.
There's also another Subaru feature. When you stop on a slope and push the clutch pedal down, the car's held stationary without using the handbrake. It's called the hill hold facility, and it can be quite useful once you get used to it. I somehow didn't feel quite so confident of the system on a steep gradient. I don't think this is supposed to be negative.
After a couple of anxious moments and a bit of searching in the handbook, I discovered the source of the problem. Depressing the clutch and brake together locks 2 of the wheels until the clutch is raised to move off. But you have to press the brake really hard for it to work properly, and I was obviously being too gentle.
But I don't feel quite so safe somehow.
To old Subaru hands, the hill hold is so simple it makes the handbrake virtually redundant. But for me, well, it took a bit of getting used to.
Inside, it's all very Japanese, very grey and very normal. The instruments are plain and clear, the controls logical and well placed. The only slight touch of the unexpected is the instrument dimmer switch located on a column stalk. There's plenty of room for bodies, front and back, but not as much load capacity as in a conventional estate. The loading area is about the same size as most of the hatchbacks in the class. That's the price you pay for all those curves. The Impreza is a likeable and individual car, although it does come at a price over its obvious hatchback and saloon competitors, although of course they don't have four-wheel drive. Similarly equipped versions of cars like the Citroën ZX, the Ford Orion and the Vauxhall Astra are all around £1,000 cheaper. And the Subaru doesn't exactly bristle with all the latest safety kit either. You can't order anti-lock brakes or an airbag, for example. And it doesn't have an alarm fitted.
So who's going to buy it? Well, due to import restrictions, the maximum number of cars for sale next year will be no more than 2,000. So it's never going to top the sales charts. But if you're prepared to pay that extra 1,000 for the four-wheel drive, you'll be getting something a bit different for your money.